Start spreading the news. I'm leaving to... Well, actually, I left a while ago and I've returned. Because yes, this episode today is all about my trip to New York City, the Big Apple. And I thought, what better than to have a nice rambly episode of Minecraft as I wander around the server, maybe do a bit of caving. But yeah, have a good ramble about my trip. Hello everyone. I know the last episode I did on the JFS was a similar one. It was a Q&A where I just talked for ages and caved. But I just like doing it on with Minecraft as a backdrop. I think it's quite good. And also, I haven't really been active on the server for a long time, so I feel like I want to have a little exploration, see what's been going on, have a little look around. Does that sound good? Does that sound okay? And then maybe at some point in the future, maybe I'll actually start doing some more building and showing off some stuff like the good old days. But until then, ramble time. So yeah, I'm just going to walk around just looking at stuff. Then we might go to Morgeland and the Nether Hub and Farm Town. I want to show off a bit. But yeah, I'm really here to talk about my not my Minecraft holiday. That was Minecon. No, my New York holiday. I like doing this. I like making little almost podcasts of the trips that I've done because then it makes me remember. Unfortunately, I didn't do one for Canada. I said I would, but I actually didn't in the end. Whoops. Thankfully, I've got loads of footage from that, so that's fine. But yeah, did one for Minecon, did one for the Brussels meetup as a podcast with the guys. Now I'm just going to talk to myself and tell you all about my trip because, yeah, New York City. Oh my goodness, it was great. Let's just start off by saying that. It was a great trip. I loved it. It's something I've always wanted to do, was go to the Big Apple itself. Ever since I was young, I remember being in school and in one of the classes, media class, which I picked, one of my AS levels, there was a scheduled trip to New York as part of the course, and I was so excited. However, stupid young me didn't really think about, oh, hang on, that's going to cost money. And so, yeah, when the school sent out the slips saying, you know, do you want to sign up to be on this trip? It's going to cost this much. And it was like well over £1,000. We didn't have that sort of money, me and my family, so no trip for me. And then in the end, not enough students signed up for it anyway, so they just cancelled it. So that was no good. So yeah, ever since then I've wanted to go. Playing GTA 4. That was, that's basically set in New York. I remember playing that when I was younger and thinking, oh man, to be in the actual places it's set in, to be in Times Square, to be seeing the Statue of Liberty, to be walking down Fifth Avenue and all that stuff, I was just engrossed. I was obsessed with it. I really was. And it's taken until now, until 27, to finally do that. But hey, I'm earning money. I can do what I want with it. So yeah, I landed. It's really not been that long at all since I've been. I flew off with my partner on Monday the 18th, and we stayed there until Friday and left on the Friday and returned back to England. With time zones and stuff, it was actually the Saturday we returned, and it's now, as of recording, the Sunday. So yeah, literally, honestly, jet lag, sleeping on planes, time zones, it really messes you up, and it almost feels like I haven't actually slept properly. It still feels like I was in New York a few hours ago, but I wasn't. I don't know. It's really weird. Anyway, let's get started with the trip, shall we? Because one of the things I wanted to make sure we had done was, let's go see Fricker's big tree and Shawston Space. One of the things I wanted to make sure I had done ready for this trip was have a good itinerary. I didn't really have a plan for Canada, but it was fine because I was with a big group of people that some of them were Canadian, so they knew what to do. They had a better idea of what to do and when. This time, since it was just my partner and I, we had to make sure we did things in the right order. We didn't just... Why am I walking? We didn't want to do things in a silly order and end up double backing on ourselves and wasting time and missing out on stuff. So a few days beforehand, I got to work making an itinerary, a plan for each day. And if I do say so myself, it was pretty damn good. It was pretty good indeed. I'm going to go through what we did each day, but very important. In this video, I'm also going to try and give some tips if you do want to go to New York. So especially if it's only for 5 days, it's not long. definitely have a plan of what you're going to do for each day, because you don't want to be just wandering around thinking, what should we do now? Wasting valuable time. So have a plan. Okay? That's a funny lighthouse, but I kind of like it. Yes, I had a plan. I had our hotel booked, had our flights booked. It didn't really cost too much in the end. We booked it back in August, and it was about 700. Was it 700? Yeah, about £700 per person. That's flights and hotel combined. Ooh, a Ferris wheel. So, it's Dennis's, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, about £1,400 overall, and then you got spending money and all this sort of stuff. So probably overall, I'd say the whole trip cost about £1,000 each. I would say, maybe a little bit more, but well worth it. I thought. I just, like I say, it's always been something I wanted to do. So I didn't care how much I'd saved up. I was going to spend it. Booked our flights with Virgin Atlantic. Pretty good flights, and we stayed at the. I never know how to say it. Is it Ryu? The Ryu Plaza Hotel at Times Square. Now, a lot of people say don't go anywhere near Times Square. Go look at it, and then leave, because it's busy, it's horrible, it's not a very nice part of New York. That's what I think a lot of local New Yorkers would say. It's like Piccadilly Circus in London. You know, you don't really need to go there. It's just what you do to go see the big screens. I do get that, but I had a great time in Times Square. I thought it was well worth being nearby, because you're just so close to everything. You could walk to all the famous landmarks, and if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to be a tourist, if it's your first trip, then you might as well save time and maybe spend a bit more money being closer. A lot of my friends recommended, oh no, get an Airbnb, stay in one of the outer boroughs, stay in Queens, stay in Brooklyn, all those sort of areas. But I didn't want to do that, because that meant travelling like half an hour in every day. So no, I got a good deal. I think that's a pretty good price anyway. Anyway, yeah. So Monday the flight was at 12 o'clock. Nice flight, not too early, so I didn't have to worry about what I did in Canada, which was stay overnight in the airport. Do not do that. Not a good idea. And everything went really, really quite smoothly. The flight was fine. The food was okay. I ended up watching a couple films, which were both okay. One was called Yesterday, which was it was like a film based on if the Beatles never existed, but this one guy remembers that they do. And then he basically pretends to have written them all and becomes the Beatles. And another one called Stan and Ollie, about Laurel and Hardy. Anyway, I don't care about that. Whatever. Where am I going now? Let's go Morge World, which is this way. So yeah, got through, landed at JFK Airport. Flight took about 7 hours-ish, 7 hours 50 maybe. Pretty good, no turbulence, not much. Didn't get ill, ears didn't hurt. Usually my ears hurt, they pop, but they were okay. Now the one thing I was really scared about was American Security Border Force Patrol, Paw Patrol, the TSA. I was terrified. I'd heard lots of things about them, like, oh, they're really mean and scary, and you've got to listen to what they say, or else you're gonna get told off, and they're going to interrogate you for why you're there and what you're going to do, how much money do you have, why are you here, why are you staying, all these sort of things. They're going to shine a light in your eye. And so I was pretty nervous. My palms were sweating as we were going up, and I was thinking, oh no, they're going to think I'm a terrorist or something. Why am I sweating so much? But no, it was fine. The guy I spoke to was very nice, very friendly. Just said, weirdly, they did ask what I do, like as a profession. What's my career? Wasn't expecting that, but there you go. I expected where you're staying, how much money, because that's pretty normal. But yeah, wasn't too bad at all. And actually, this is skipping forward a bit to the return flight, but I found it interesting that I found American security more lax than European, which I was not expecting. If you have a flight to Europe or coming back, or actually no, leaving from London, we had to take my belt off, take off my boots, do all that sort of stuff. Any metal, anything like that, had to come off. Coming from America back to England, they didn't really mind. Boots left on, belt could have even been left on. I don't know, very strange. Anyway, so we got to the airport, JFK, got our baggage, And then there's a few different ways we could have got to New York City, to Manhattan. You could have took a taxi, which was quite expensive, or you could have got a bus, all sorts of like a shared bus thing. We opted for the cheapo method, which was subway. You get an air train to a subway station not very far out, was it Jamaica Station, and then you just get a regular old subway, the E-train, for $2.75 all the way into Times Square pretty much. So we did that. It took about an hour in the end. But I think really, unless you have a massive family with loads of bags, you might as well just do the subway. It really wasn't that bad at all. And yeah, it costs like... That's the thing. In London, with the Underground, obviously I was comparing everything to London when I was first there. But in London, the tube has different zones. So in the middle it's zone 1, then as you go further out, zone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the price it fluctuates depending on how far you travel. So 1 to 2 is cheap, but if you go 1 to 6, that's really expensive because it's really far. In New York, it's a flat fare, no matter how far you go. So you could go on a single subway ride for 2 hours, and it will cost you the same amount as going one stop for a minute, which I thought was really weird. But I'm not complaining. It cost $2.75. So yeah, we got to Times Square at probably about 6 p.m. The time there, and we were obviously very tired and sweaty and felt grubby and wanted to get in and just have a shower, change, all that stuff. I kind of got lost for a bit. I didn't actually know where the hotel was in Times Square. But yeah, we found it. We found it and we checked in. The hotel was fine. It wasn't anything too special, but it got the job done. It was clean and had a nice view, so that's pretty good. Put on a bit of American TV. Had to watch a bit of Fox News just to see the real deal. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, with that, see, the thing is, with my itinerary, I didn't really have much planned for the first day because I wasn't sure how much time we'd have. And also, there's not really much you can do straight on into the evening. I don't want to go exploring at night time. So, didn't really have much planned. It was just to get some food and maybe wander around Times Square because that's where we were. So we did. We got changed, got ready, and set foot out into Times Square. I will try and put some pictures on screen of any I have when it comes up. So yeah, there you go. It might be a picture of Times Square on the screen. Now the thing is, this is actually what I loved. Oh, I think I need to go to bed. Yes. I actually ended up loving this. It was raining. It was raining badly, and I knew it was going to rain on Monday because I'd been checking the weather to see what to do best, what day. I am still recording, aren't I? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, so I knew it was going to rain. And oh my god, it was so great. It was so good. I don't know what... I didn't want it to rain every day, obviously. But just to experience Times Square in the rain was just a real experience. I loved it. Because, it's wet, but then you get puddles. And then all the screens were reflecting in the puddles. And it was just... And the haze of the mist, of the rain... was kind of lighting up because of all the lights around it. So everything was glowing pretty much. It was amazing. I couldn't really describe it, but it was so good. I'm so glad I got to experience like the typical New York rain, if that makes any sense. At least once on my trip. So I was happy about that. And yes, I did get a bit wet, but we did have a brolly, so it's fine. Oh, what are those bad guys down there doing? Light that up. Hello. Oh dear. Oh, look at that lag. Oh, boy. So we had a little wander around Times Square in the rain, took a few pictures. We ended up getting this really good picture of the Empire State Building. It was green. It was lit up green at the top. But because of the rain, it honestly looks like... I'm going to put it on screen. I think it's a great photo. I didn't take it, my partner did. But it looks like something out of Batman. It reminds me of Gotham. Just look at it. Look at that. Doesn't it look like Gotham? I think it looks great, like from Batman Forever or something, with Val Kilmer. Love it. So yeah, we did that. Had some food. We got some tacos from a place that I'd been recommended on videos and stuff called Los Tacos Number 1. They were okay. They were a bit small. Should have ordered more than one, but it was fine. Actually, they weren't tacos, they were quesadillas. There you go. And yeah, that was kind of it really. We just walked around for a bit more. Then it really started to pour it down really bad. So then we're like, no, let's just go back to the hotel. Let's get some sleep so we can get up nice and early for our first proper full day. And that was Tuesday. So Tuesday. Oh yeah, and also I should also be saying what's on screen. All this is what I've done. I am going to do something here eventually. I've got a design worked out. I just need to actually build it. I've even got most of the supplies for it. So yeah, maybe this is what I can do next time, is actually do some building. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, Tuesday. Let me just scroll down so I can look through photos of what I did on the Tuesday. Uh-oh, I hear a zombie. Oh! No. No. Oh, there's just zombies everywhere now. Oh, I should not have done that. Wait. Okay, and where's my itinerary? Let's get this up as well. I'm so unprepared. Here we go. So Tuesday, first plan was to... Well, actually, originally, I wanted to do the Staten Island ferry first, because that's a free way of seeing the Statue of Liberty. Because it goes past... It's the ferry that takes you and connects you from Manhattan to Staten Island. And so a lot of people say, you know, you can go up to... Is it Liberty Island? You can go onto the island and see the statue, but it's pricier. Maybe not necessarily worth it. So I was thinking, all right, I won't do that. I'll just get the free ferry, and I'll see the Statue of Liberty from afar. With hindsight, I think it would have been good to actually go to the island and see the Statue of Liberty up close, because it's not very big, is it? It's actually really quite small. Yeah, I think maybe I should have just paid a bit more and done that, and maybe even... I know you can get tours up to the Crown itself, but it's really hard to get tickets because obviously it's so sought after. But if you do it far enough in advance, you can. I maybe should have tried to do that. I would probably recommend... Yes, everyone says do the Staten Island ferry because it's free, but if you have the money and the time, I'd say do it. Go to the island itself, because... Yeah, I think we probably could have experienced the Statue of Liberty a bit better. But yeah, anyway, we didn't even do that first. But we're going to do that first. But then my friend from work, who has done a similar trip to New York, she suggested, don't do that first. Go do the 9/11 Memorial and Museum first, which was actually going to be what we were going to do after. But she said, no, flip it around. Do the museum and memorial first, and then do the ferry, because... And quite rightly, she said, you know, the memorial and the museum are quite heavy topics, quite sad, tragic, depressing topics about 9/11. So do those first and experience them, and then go out and you know, you're on the ferry, you got the fresh air, you got the nice views of Manhattan. You can sort of unwind a bit and just reflect on your thoughts from the museum. Very good advice. I would suggest that too. Because it is, yeah. I'll get onto the museum, but yeah, it's quite a thing to experience. So that's what we did. We ended up getting one of these Explorer passes that gives you 3. Well, it can be 3, it can be 5 or 7 or whatever. We chose the 3 one. 3 different things to go to for free. Well, not for free, but you pay for it. You pay for it in advance, is what I'm trying to say. So we could use it 3 times. And one of the times we picked the 9/11 museum. We saw the memorial first, the Ground Zero fountains. Well, they're not really fountains, are they? Are they fountains? I don't know. You know, the big squares. And I just knew it was going to be the case because I'd already read, but I saw at least 3 couples there taking smiley selfies. I'm like, come on, how inappropriate do you have to be to go to a memorial? I said that weird. Memorial, there you go. Memorial, where like over 2,000 people died, and then go take a smiley happy selfie in front of it, in front of people's names written on the metal things surrounding the water. How, like, no one can be that stupid, can they? Well, obviously they can. Obviously they can. And so yeah, I was just shaking my head at all these people having their selfie sticks and looking so happy in front of where the Twin Towers used to be. And I was just thinking it's disgusting. I just walked around, and it is because it's supposed. They even have signs there that say, this is a place for reflection. Do not take happy smiley selfies. Take photos of the fountains if you want, because I think it is a great design. It's a really nice memorial. I think what they did was really clever. How the water flows down into the middle, and how they ended up building an even bigger tower to replace it as a sign of as a big FU. Like, yeah, all right, you can destroy them, but we're just going to build a bigger one. So yeah, we did that. We went to the memorial first, and it was really good. It was, well, yeah, like I say, not good, but it was quiet. It was meant to be a quiet place, and it was quite quiet. And they put the white roses on the names of people whose birthdays it would have been. It's just such a nice little touch, and it makes you think that these were actually. You got to remember these were real people who were just at work and things like that. Anyway, then after that we actually went down into the museum. This is going to be like a 2-hour episode, I swear. How long's it been? Oh, it's been 20 minutes already. Okay. Let's carry on walking now. I've just been lighting up for a while. Let's walk towards Farm Town, which I think is actually... I don't know where we got the map. Hang on. Hang on a minute. Don't mind me. Okay. It's past Dennis's place. Actually, I should have gone back there. Dennis's place is this way. The museum for the 9/11 thing was really... It was really good. It was very sad, and it was. I thought I might cry. I didn't end up crying, but I was very close at sometimes because there are certain sections which are they even have signs saying what you're about to see is quite graphic, or it's just warnings basically. And usually these bits are hidden away a bit more. They're not just out in the open. So there were a couple bits, for example, it had a section of the people that jumped out the building, jumped out the World Trade Centers as they were pretty much burning alive inside. They chose to fall rather than burn alive. And some of I've seen some of those pictures before. They're quite famous, some of them, but still, just in that setting where it's pretty much above you where it happened, because the museum goes underground, and the design's quite clever because basically the museum is 2 big squares, and it's like the footprint of the buildings, each tower. That's where the museum is inside of. So literally it was above you. You're underneath it. So yeah, it had things like that. It had some phone. This is the thing that really got me. I think probably most people, it was the phone calls that people made on the flights as they realised that they'd been hijacked, and they were just making calls to their loved ones before they died. And it was just, that was the bit that almost got me, because it was really... I don't like listening to that sort of stuff, but if you're there, I feel like you kind of have to, because, well, that's why you're here, is to remember. So yeah, it was good. I'm really glad I went. I think it's kind of like, I feel weird recommended it, because it's almost like it's a tourist attraction, but it's a tourist attraction for the wrong reasons. It was a terrorist attack and people died, but it is definitely worth going to, I would say. And obviously you get to see the new what's the building called now? It's like, is it just called One World Trade Center, which is a really beautiful building, like, so good. And that's where they filmed Bon Appetit, that YouTube channel. I don't know if any of you know about it, but Bon Appetit, I was really hoping I'd come across Claire or Brad or Andy, and I didn't. But yeah, that's where the offices are, so oh well. I think one of the things that I said to my partner while there that made me think about like being here in the 9/11 museum was it was the first kind of big thing like that. I've been to museums and memorials before, but they're usually for things like World War I or World War II or other wars like Vietnam or the Falklands, or it's things years and years ago, sometimes decades ago, and things well before I was born. This was the first thing, I think, like the first big thing I've been to like this that's happened in my lifetime that I could actually remember happening in real life. I remember it. I was only 9, but I do remember the TV being on and everyone, gasping and being shocked by what's happening on screen. So I think that's why it hit me a bit more, is because this is very visceral to me. And same goes for, I suppose, there is an equal one in that, for Britain at least, was the 7/7 bombings. I don't think there's actually been, there must be a memorial, but there's not been anything else like that for it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's something you kind of have to go see now because it's part of New York now. They're embracing it as this is what happened to us. This is how the city reacted and went above it, sort of thing. So yeah, that's the first thing we did, and then quite rightly, I think my friend said, go and have a little wander, go see the Statue of Liberty on the ferry, go just reflect, think, and then move on, because it is quite a heavy topic. So, oh god, I don't know where I am now. I got lost. We did the ferry. The ferry. Let's just double check I'm not missing anything. Just scrolling through. There's the memorial. Yeah, we did the ferry. So the ferry was okay. It is free. You can't really complain about that. It's pretty much there for a commuter sort of thing. It's to get from one place to another. It's not really a touristy thing, but it's now used as a tourist thing. And yeah, you do get to see the Statue of Liberty as it passes by, but it doesn't get very close. And yeah, the Statue of Liberty is quite small, so like I was saying before, maybe it would have been worth actually going to the island itself. It was fine. It was okay. I'm glad that we did it, but yeah, probably a better thing to have done for the Statue of Liberty anyway. Okay, after that we sort of walked back around the Wall Street area, got back off the ferry. Wall Street is very interesting. Like, there's some very nice buildings there, obviously, and it's a famous location. But I think the thing is probably what a lot of people go there for now is that stupid bull statue, and I just don't really get it. So there's a charging bull. Well, it's got quite an interesting story behind it. There's the artist, I can't remember the artist's name, but he basically wanted to thank America because he came over to America, he became successful, and he wanted to thank the country which had brought him success. So he made a bull statue, and then he literally dumped it off in front of Wall Street in the middle of the night and left it there. And so they came back to it and like, oh crap, there's a statue here, what do we do? And he wanted it to be left at where he put it, but they couldn't leave it there, so they moved it a bit further down, and now it's there. So that's basically it. Quite a nice story behind it, but I think it's there was a massive, massive, massive queue to touch the ball. Now, what everyone does is they tickle the ball's balls, because you can see how polished they are compared to the rest of the statue. They're so shiny. Maybe it's meant to give you good luck. I don't know. But it just seemed very weird for me, and I was just saying, no, we're not going to queue to do that. I'm sorry. I do not care enough about that statue. I don't know. I just don't get it. I much rather would have, and we did. I'd much rather go see the buildings themselves, the stock exchange and all the is it like JP Morgan buildings, all that sort of stuff, because they're much more interesting to me. They're architecture rather than just one statue. Anyway, we did that, and then we kind of ended the day. Oh no, we didn't. We did load. Hang on, was that the same day? It was the same day. Okay, and we did quite a lot on Tuesday. Then we walked to Brooklyn Bridge. Did the old trip, walk across Brooklyn Bridge, because you kind of have to. I've totally lost Farmtown now. Where am I? Where am I? Why is it raining? Is that something over there? No. Hang on a minute. Oh, I went so far the wrong way. Okay. Okay. Well, we've got back around on ourselves and we should come across Shorston's castle. I think. This way? If we go this way. Alright. Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge. It took a while to actually find out how you get on Brooklyn Bridge as a pedestrian, but we did. And, again, not really much to say about that. It's just something you have to do. Very busy. But obviously I've built the Brooklyn Bridge in Minecraft. There's a few things that I've built in New York City that I've done on Minecraft now, as I'll explain later on. But one of them is the Brooklyn Bridge. I did it back in Dang City on Season 3. And yeah, it's a really nice bridge. It's a good looking bridge. I love it. I love how you walk above the cars. I love the struts. I love the supports. I think it's great. You get some really good views of Manhattan, of like downtown Manhattan as a skyline. And okay, what is that? Where am I going to see this? Joe, let me just look at coordinates. Hang on. So yeah, this way. All right. Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge, good. Didn't take very long to walk. Not that long. It's just under a mile, I think. And good views. So we actually ended up speaking to this random guy. He wanted us to take his photo, and he not long ago came back from a year abroad in England. So he was asking about where we're from, and he actually stayed and visited and studied in Loughborough, which was really, really random. Oh, hey, yeah, I know a few people from Loughborough. Anyway, after that, we'd obviously be on the Brooklyn side of the bridge. So we got some food. We got some food in Brooklyn. We'd realised that up until that point, we still had not had any pizza. We've been to New York and no pizza, and also no coffee really either. But never mind. We got some pizza at a place called Grimaldi's, I think it was. They had some good reviews on TripAdvisor and stuff. So yeah, they were okay. The pizza did taste very nice. I didn't really have anything to compare it to. Oh, here we go. I found it. There's Shorston's place. But the pizza was fine, and yeah, the only thing I was kind of scared about was the whole tipping thing. Like, tipping obviously is not a thing here in England. It's becoming more of a thing, which I'm not too pleased about, because I think, well, you know, there's lots of different opinions about tipping. Tipping in America is kind of vital because it covers the cost of the servers and stuff. In England, it's not so much the case. They have minimum wage, they have to be paid. So tipping is not as much required, but it's still becoming a thing, which I don't really like, because often I don't think the service is very good in England. I think it's actually pretty pants, especially compared to America, where the service is a lot better. So, I don't know. That's besides the point. I think we did tipping alright, you know, what was it, 20%, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's fine. No one seemed to look at us rudely anyway, I think, for not tipping enough. So we had the pizza there in Brooklyn, and we were originally, that was the end of my plan. We were going to get drinks in Brooklyn, but we didn't really want to wander too far because, well, you know, Englishman in New York, so I didn't want to get freaked out and get lost in the dark, basically. So we decided, let's head back towards Manhattan, where we sort of know the surroundings a bit more, and we get some drinks there. So we ended up going to a rooftop bar. Another thing you kind of have to do while you're in New York. We went to one called 235th, which is on 5th Avenue, and has really good views of the Empire State Building. So went up there, had a beer and a wine. It was kind of pricey, but you know, you pay for the view, basically. They had heaters outside, so that was good. It wasn't too cold. I'm going to go find a bed to go sleep in. And yeah, just got a little bit tipsy. It was nice. More so my partner, because he had margaritas, but I just had nice beer. So, oh, there's the bed. And then after that, I think we carried on. We were like, well, we started drinking now. Let's carry on with a few bars. So we were going to go to one of these speakeasy bars. They're becoming quite popular now, so it's almost like a fake entrance. The one we went down into was actually, it looked like a coffee shop, but then you go through a door and dun dun dun, it's a secret speakeasy jazz place. Unfortunately, the waiting time to get in was like 2 hours, and it was already about 9 o'clock. So we gave that one a miss, and instead we just found a bar. We was like, well, let's just walk around until we find one. A bit dangerous because they could be crap, but we double checked online. It seemed to be alright. It was a baseball sports bar, which was lost on me obviously because I know nothing about baseball really, apart from going to see the Blue Jays versus the Red Sox in Canada. But yeah, it was a bar. Had some more beer, pretty good. And then we ended up in a place very close to our hotel called, I think it was called the Rum Place. The Rum Bar or the Rum Place. Something to do with rum, because that was its main drinks list, was rum cocktails. And yeah, so I had a mojito. Boy, was it a strong mojito. They're not kidding when they say it's a rum bar. We had a little, oh, it was so nice. It was like this tiny little, it wasn't too small, but it was very small. Little bar, had some live music playing, and it really it just felt so like classy in a way, but not classy, just it was nice. It sat in this little corner, the cocktails, and listening to some jazz, and in New York, it was amazing. And then I had to go for a wee, and I got lost because the toilets were not. It was connected to a hotel, so the toilets were actually toilets in the lobby of this hotel. But I thought I was going to get told off, so I tried not to do it. But then I just had to go, so it's fine. And that's pretty much it. By that point, we were quite drunk and tired, so we were nearby to our hotel, so we just went back and slept after a very, very long day. So I'm still not where. Hang on a minute. I just want to find Farmtown. Where is this place? Farmtown is at minus 700, 500. Okay, which is that way. Okay. And that was Tuesday. Alright, I'm going to start speaking faster because this is going on way too long. This is going to be a long one. Wednesday. What was our plan for Wednesday? Oh, I've just come across a photo actually. Can I just point out, I don't know whether it was just this hotel, but American toilets are so wide I nearly fell in. I know there's a cliche about fat Americans, but that wasn't the case. So why? Why are the toilet bowls rather, so wide? It was crazy. I was not very comfortable on the toilets. Let's just put it that way. All right, Wednesday. We started off by trying. Oh yeah, we wanted to go and get some tickets for a Broadway show. Another thing you have to do whilst in New York. I've been to the West End quite a lot, so had to go to Broadway. And the main place you get those from, either online or you can go. Oh, blimey. You can go to the TKTS booth, the famous one in Times Square, the big red steps. There's a booth there where you can go buy tickets. However, being in Times Square, it's very busy, very popular, very touristy. So there's a second place. There's actually three places, but there's a new place to buy TKTS tickets. Further uptown, near Central Park, at the Lincoln Center. So we did that, went up first thing, quite early, to go get some tickets for a show that evening. And we came up to a little problem. The TKTS was closed because they had some private event going on. And they said, come back at 1:30. Crap. Okay. That threw a spanner into my itinerary, but that's fine. So we did that. We're like, well, we'll come back later because we really do want to go to a Broadway show, and typically you can get quite good prices at the TKTS. There are other ways, but it was just the simplest. Thank God it stopped raining. Oops, that was a screenshot. Okay, I've got to go that way more. So instead, we carried on with our plan as it was going to be anyway, which was to go and start off the day in Washington Square Park, a place I recognised from GTA 4. I remember running over people in Washington Square Park. It's the one with the arch, the big arch, and I do remember that from the game. So I wanted to go see it in real life. It was a nice little park. I was so happy to come across the chessboards. It's one of those things I completely forgot is like a stereotype. It's like a cliche. But the chessboards in parks, I'd never come across those before. I thought, oh yeah, that's the thing. There's the old men waiting there, waiting for someone to play with them. Certainly not me, because I suck at chess. So yeah, the park was okay though. Obviously, being this time of year, I should point out not much was. Maybe we should have went a little bit later when things were Christmassy, because things weren't very Christmassy at the moment. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving now-ish. It was basically the week before Thanksgiving we went, so I think it's kind of that kicks off the Christmassy stuff. For example, the Rockefeller tree was not Christmas. It was being put up, but it wasn't actually up yet. So, yeah. How did I get onto that? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Washington Square Park. So yeah, that time of the year, a lot of the trees, the leaves are falling off, so it might not look as pretty as it can do, but it was fine. The park was nice, and it was kind of a good place to start off because then I wanted to head westward towards West Village, a very, very, very nice part of New York, which at some points doesn't even really feel like you're in a big city. It's really weird. Here's a big crop circle. We're in Farmtown now. We found it. Hooray. Oh no, my tea. It's gone cold. Great. I'm losing my voice. Oh dear. Anyway, so we headed from Washington Square Park. We headed west because there were a few different things I wanted to see. The first one, which is kind of lame, but I had to go do it, was I had to go see the building that they used in Friends, because there's for the exterior shots of Monica's apartment, there's this building in West Village on Grove Street. I just had to go see it in real life because I love Friends. I don't care what people say. I love Friends. I know that it gets a bit of hate now, but also it's more popular than ever. So, whatever. I had to go see it in real life, and I did. And that was it, really. That's all you can really do there. There is a little restaurant underneath, which I did want to maybe go and see and eat at, which was called the Little Owl, it's called. But we weren't very hungry, to be honest. And actually, before that, I got my first proper New York coffee. And not just terrible coffee from the breakfast at the hotel. It was a place called Puerto Rico Importers Coffee, and it was damn good coffee, let me say. It was good coffee, well worth the wait. Anyway, yeah, so we saw the Friends building, and then we headed north, uptown, to the High Line. That's a big thing that people recommend nowadays in New York. It's fairly new, and it's basically a repurposed old train track that used to go above the streets, and now they don't use it anymore, so they repurposed it to a walkway, just a pedestrianised walkway above the streets, filled it with loads of trees and grass and greenery and art installations, and it's really funky, edgy, hipstery place to be, full of loads of hipstery shops all around it. Chelsea Market, which we went and looked at, which was okay. Yeah, High Line was really good. Hello, little kitty cat. We're here. We're at the Jolly Good Pumpkin Patch, sponsored by Farmtown. Oh, the hay maze. Let's go do the hay maze. Let's do it. Yeah, so this isn't the hay maze, is it? Hang on. Where's the hay maze? Is it back here? No, that's Dennis's thing. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where did the sign point towards? Upwards. Maybe I think this might have been the hay maze, but it's gone now. Oh no, I was too late. Oh well. What else to say about the High Line? Really, not much. It's just nice little. It was very different. It was very different to the hustle and bustle of the Times Square streets, for example. So I liked it. It wasn't amazing, but I liked it. Yeah, you can get some nice funky food from Chelsea Market. Get some nice. That's the one thing I'm really sad at. I didn't get to get like a proper donut. I wanted to get a cronut, but I couldn't get a cronut. I ran out of time. Never mind. After that, what did we do then? We kind of messed up my itinerary plan because we kind of went a bit all over the place. Originally, the drinks and rooftop bar was meant to be Wednesday, but we did it on Tuesday, so we had to fill some time. Oh no, that's right. After that, after the High Line, we went back to TKTS at the Lincoln Centre because by that point it was past 1:30, so we were hoping they were open, they'd have tickets, and what do you know, they were, and we got what ended up being some really good tickets. There were 2 shows in mind that we wanted to go see on Broadway. One was Dear Evan Hansen, and the other was Mean Girls. And I asked my partner, like, what's sort of the vague premise of each of them. I mean, I knew about Mean Girls because obviously it was a film. But Dear Evan Hansen, it seemed to be about... It was very like a feel-good, but... Maybe not feel-good, but it was about suicide at one point. So I was like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. No, let's go to Mean Girls because that'd be funny. And so we tried to get tickets for Mean Girls. They weren't cheap. Let's be honest. Broadway's never going to be cheap. They were probably about $70 to $80 each, I think. So what's that? That's about 50 quid. So yeah, quite pricey, but not too bad for Broadway. It could be a lot worse. And they ended up being really good seats. Row C, so third from the stage, and kind of near enough smack bang in the middle. So great view of the show, but I'll get onto the show later because that was actually in the evening. Anyway, after we got the tickets, we just wandered around Central. We didn't actually go in Central Park, but since we were near that area, we walked around it and came across a couple places, Plaza Hotel, and before the trip, we made an effort to watch Home Alone 2 because we thought, what better way to get into the mood for New York than watch Home Alone 2, where little Kevin gets lost in New York, and one of the places he goes to is the Plaza Hotel. So that was cool, seeing that in real life. We had a quick look in the Apple store there, the famous Cube one. We walked along Fifth Avenue for a little bit and saw some shops. We saw Trump Tower. Boom! Another thing I've built in Minecraft. Yes, obviously back in Season 3 I built what ended up being Flump Tower out of solid gold, near enough. And so I saw the real thing, saw the real deal. Not just saw the real deal, you can actually go inside. It's open to the public. Has a Starbucks in there. So we went inside, had a look at the waterfall and how gold everything is. Man, there's so many things in there. There's like Trump steaks, Trump ice cream, Trump bar, Trump store, Trump everything, Trump this, Trump that. So didn't actually do any of that, but we just had a little look around quickly, which was kind of neat just to be there and see it in real life. Didn't stay long though. Looked at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Went to the Nintendo store in New York. Not very many of those. There's none in... I really thought there'd be one in London, but there's not. There's one in Japan, in Tokyo, but there's not. And now there's one in New York, but yeah. That was cool. Maybe a place more for like Nixa and Weather and Shorestin and stuff, because they had Pokemon everything and Splatoon and Zelda and... Yeah, Mario, obviously. I like all that stuff, but yeah, I wasn't too fussed. It was just nice to see it. And after that... By that point, we killed enough time, really. We went back to the hotel, got changed, looking nice and fancy for Broadway, and then we headed to the theatre. Let me go into the portal. Actually, I want to go show off the Nether Hub. So, how was the theatre show? How was Mean Girls? It was great. I loved it. I'm sure many of you might have seen the film and enjoyed the film. And the theatre show was just as good, if not maybe even a little bit better. I loved it. Like I say, we had really good seats. It was at the... Crap, what was the theatre called? It was like the Arthur something. Yeah, I can't remember the theatre name, but it wasn't very far away, obviously, being near Times Square. Yeah, had great seats, drank some wine, and The songs were great, the production was great, the cast were great. Everything was just so good. I would highly recommend if you can ever get the chance to see it. Maybe not on Broadway, it might do a tour. It might even come over to England at some point. Who knows? Go see it because it was great. I want to show off this. This is the new level of the Nether Hub that Shawston's mainly working on. Doing a damn fine job. Ooh. No, not really. Yeah. So there's not really much else to say about that because you kind of had to be there. Sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna go listen to the songs again though because the songs were good, and it had tap dancing. I'm so glad. I love it when a show has tap dancing. Is like a lost art. Well, maybe not lost art. I'm sure it's still very much alive, but I'd like to see it more. I want to see it more often. I love the sound tap shoes make. Oh my goodness, it's so satisfying. So satisfying. And they had quite a nice musical number with a bit of tap dancing involved. But yeah, the seats were so good. You could see every drop of sweat as the cast flicked their hair back, and every bead, I should say bead of sweat, and every drop of spit as they enunciated their lines. You could see them spray under the stage lights. It was yeah, the closest I've ever sat to a performance like that, and I think everything else is going to look crap now in comparison because I've seen it up close. Oh well. And that was it really. After the show, as we were leaving, these lovely American, very drunk women came up and were saying, "Can you take a picture?" So we took a picture of them, and then they took a picture of us, and they were like, just started chatting to this random blonde lady about her life and what she's been up to, which I've now completely forgot. Oh well, I'm sorry, lady. Never mind. Okay, Thursday. What did I do Thursday? Also, where am I going to go now? Let's go see the City of Cities project, see if anything's been going on there. I'm not sure it has, but let's just go anyway. Thursday was... Oh wait, hang on. Did we eat? What did we eat? I'm trying to think of food. Food wasn't as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to end up spending loads on food, but we didn't really eat that much in the end. Where did we eat on Wednesday? That's really going to bug me. Hang on. Let me think about this. Oh, I think we went to... Did we go to Wendy's? I know at one point we wanted to go to a fast food place. We did. We did go to Wendy's on Wednesday. Works out quite well. And I know a lot of people will be like, you went all the way to New York and you went and had fast food? But yeah, because we had some nice food, as I'll get onto later. We did have some nice food, but also I feel like you have to do a bit of fast food. I didn't want to get McDonald's or whatever, because we have that over here, but we don't have Wendy's. And I remember I'd actually had Wednesdays. I'd actually had Wendy's before in Canada, so I remember really liking it. So I wanted to try it again, and had a Frosty and all that stuff. And basically, we were running out of time, so we needed literally fast food. We didn't have time to have a nice sit-down restaurant meal, so that's why we did it before the show. Anyway, on to Thursday. Thursday was starting off with Top of the Rock, which is the Rockefeller Center. Oh, I'm out of food. Yeah, the Rockefeller Center for the nice view of Manhattan. We'd actually booked our slot for it the day before. That's something we did before the show. I forgot. We wanted to get a good slot at around midday when it's going to be brightest and you can see farthest, so it's not hazy or cloudy and you can see all of Manhattan. And yeah, not really much to say about that. It was really good. A really good view of New York. A lot of people say to go to the Empire State Building and go up to the top of that instead, but then the issue is you can't see the Empire State Building in the skyline because you're in it. So if you do this one instead, which I think is also slightly cheaper, you get the skyline and you also get the Empire State Building in it, so you can actually savor that view. And yeah, it was obviously very busy up there, so that was a bit annoying. Lots of people, but what do you expect? It's New York, one of the most densely populated places on Earth. So yeah, it's going to be busy. After that, Thursday was mainly going to be our Central Park day, because I know that you can spend a lot of time in Central Park. It is humongous, and it indeed was humongous. So we didn't really have anything. We didn't really have anything else planned for that day because we wanted to have enough time to spend in New York. That being said, the sun sets around 4:30 now, so we didn't really want to stay there when it was getting too dark. So we did have a bit of a time limit. We got to Central Park around about 12-ish, I think, after the top of the rock. We hired some bikes. Now, this is another top tip coming from Joe here. A lot of people say you can get bikes. They have city bikes, kind of similar to the Santander Boris bikes here in London. You know, you just rent them out for half an hour, then top them up, stuff like that. A lot of people say to do that, so we did. We hired some bikes for a few hours. Not the city ones, it was a separate one. Cost about $20, $30 for 3 hours or so. And I'm going to say that yes, cycling around the main paths of Central Park was nice. It was a nice day. We picked the sunniest day to do it. That was good. However, as a whole, Central Park is not very bike friendly, which is bizarre because it's a park, but there aren't actually that many places you can cycle. There's the main roads that goes around it. But if you actually try and go in to see all the bridges and all the park, not the parks, it's one big park, but all the stuff inside it, basically, you can't do it. You have to get off and you have to walk your bike, which kind of defeats the purpose of riding a bike. So there you are, Joe's top tip. Don't bother about a bike. Yeah, it's nice to cycle around the edges, but just walk it. Just go inside and walk around. Save yourself a bit of money as well. So yeah, we did that for a while, then we just gave the bikes back, even though we had time left. Well, screw these bikes, we don't want them. And we walked around for a bit more. Did a bit more film location spotting of Home Alone 2, where Pigeon Lady is with her bridge and her pigeons and her birds. And it was just, yeah, it's crazy. It's honestly like a different world. You see the buildings in the distance, but you think it's an entirely different location. It's so peaceful. It's so quiet. It's so nice. And there's so many different areas to it. You've got the meadows at the bottom. You've got the, what's it called? Is it called the Rabbles? Really squiggly bits. Squiggly paths. You've got the big reservoir, the Jacqueline Kennedy Reservoir. I'm just looking through some photos now. Yeah. You got the fountain, which was shut off and being cleaned when we were there, which was no good, but still. You got the, what's that lake called? Is it Bow Lake? The famous one. Squirrels everywhere. So many squirrels, honestly. And so at one point I was like, oh, look at that little baby squirrel over there. No, it was a rat. It was a big fat rat. So not just squirrels, but mainly squirrels all about. And yeah, it's true. You can spend all day in Central Park if you want. I ended up getting a nice little coffee in the middle. There's this little coffee shop. And as the sun was setting, it was beautiful. The sun was setting behind the buildings. It was this nice orange light casting down over the grass and the trees, and very romantic and very nice. So yeah, Central Park, keep nearly saying Central Park, was very good, very, very good. And it's just a really, oh, there's this nice man. So before we learned about all the sections you couldn't cycle in, we started to cycle down and we got told off. This man, I say told off, he was quite polite. He was just like, hey, sorry, you can't ride here. He was like some volunteer guy who volunteers for the park's reservation, whatever. They look after the park, basically, as a volunteer society. And he gave us this little bike map about the places you can cycle. And then he also said, like, hey, where are you from? I was like, hey, yeah, we're from England. And he gave us this little story about how the person who actually designed Central Park based it on a lot of British architecture and he was a Brit himself, or maybe Scottish. I can't remember. Still a Brit. Anyway, yeah, and he was just quite polite and gave us a nice little bit of history about the park and how Britain is tied to it. So that was nice. Very nice day in Central Park. I loved it. And afterwards, as it was getting dark, or by the time it had already set, oh yeah, and we saw the John Lennon Strawberry Fields bit. Gotta say, wasn't a big fan. I know that the reason it's there is because he was shot just on the other side of the road, and that's where he died. But the mosaic, it's like the Imagine mosaic, really kind of small and just full of people. And all these horrible tacky photos, and there's obviously a guy there that's singing Beatles songs, and he was good. You know, not gonna knock the guy singing. He was a good musician, but still, I just felt it was very fake and very like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it. Anyway, we came out of Central Park, had a little walk around Fifth Avenue a bit more, went and saw the Chrysler building, very pretty building. Reminded me of BioShock. What else did we look at? Just looking through the photos now, actually. Oh, yeah, there were a few extra bits, just a few little bits that I wanted to see. Nothing big, just to say I'd been and seen them. So yeah, Chrysler. One of them was Flatiron, but we didn't get a chance to see it in the end, which was a shame. And Grand Central Station was another one. We wanted to go see Grand Central Station because it's such a beautiful. I don't know how people can just use that as a train station. I do understand because it's humongous, but it's so beautiful. Honestly, that central main concourse area. Oh, the ceiling's got this constellation artwork on it, and the windows and the architecture. And then there's one little section at the underneath. There's this kind of food basement, all these fancy little food places. And one section there where, thanks to the shape of the ceiling, the vaulted ceilings, you can whisper in two different corners of the section, and the sound travels. So me and my partner, we went on other, opposite sides, and we spoke to each other like a big walkie-talkie. It's called the Whispering Walls, which sounds like something out of Harry Potter, but just wanted to give that a little try. And yeah, another thing I would really like to build that in Minecraft, Grand Central Station, but I think it might be a bit too difficult. We shall see. Why does that say 105? Where am I now anyway? I want to go to Lemons' bit. I think it's this way. Okay. Also, weirdly, there's an Apple store in there, in what must be one of the most annoying places to have a store. It's so busy there. Oh, here it is over there. But yeah, that was Grand Central Station. After that, we needed food. We were hungry. We wondered what to do. And there was one place that we wanted to go see. Since this was our last full day, we were flying on the Friday. This was our last full day. We figured we had to go today. It's now or never. And that was go to Cat's Deli. A lot of you may have heard of this. It's quite famous. It's very Instagrammy. It's like the thing to go to partly because it's been featured quite a lot on YouTube recently. Bon Appetit did an episode on it. But they're famous. They've been there for 200 years. There's delicatessen, famous for their big pastrami sandwiches. And oh my goodness, yeah, they weren't kidding. We went to this place. Usually it's rammed, but I guess because it was a Thursday evening, it wasn't lunchtime. It wasn't too bad. It actually wasn't that busy at all. So we got a seat. And yeah, I ordered the pastrami sandwich. Very expensive, mind you. Holy crap. It was like $20 for a sandwich. But I thought, it's now or never. I've got money left. I'm leaving tomorrow. I might as well spend it. And yeah, it was almost just to the point of ridiculous, this sandwich. I'll put a picture of it on screen. The amount of beef they put on this sandwich. One half of it I managed to eat like that. The second half I had to dismantle it and eat some of the beef out of it because it was just too big. It was too big. But boy, did it taste good. Oh. And you go up and you see the cutter, and apparently they take years of training to become a cutter there, and yeah, it was really good. on the Google thing, on the description for the place, it says theatrically cranky, and I was like, that's a bit weird. They weren't really rude, but then actually, as we were sat looking at the people behind the till point and where they cut all the meat, yeah, they can't they were, it was a jokey way, but they were being quite rude in a way. And on the walls, it had all the photos of famous guests there, like Bill Clinton had been there, and Guy Fieri. I saw a photo of him on there. Loads of actors as well. Robert De Niro, stuff like that. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was good to do. So yeah, I've been there. I've been to that place. So we did that, and then I think after that we had a little trip to Trader Joe's. Now I was a bit mistaken here. This is my fault. I was wrong. So one of the nights we wanted to get some American candy and do a bit of a taste test, just to end off, just in the hotel, just to wind down, watch a bit of TV. By this point, our feet were so sore and aching after all the walking. We wanted one evening where we didn't really do much, which is what we ended up doing. But yeah, we wanted to have some candy and some sweets and chocolates to try out. So I was like, oh, I know, let's go to a supermarket. And I'd seen on some videos the best supermarket to go to, or one of the best, was Trader Joe's. And so we did. We went there, and I didn't realise that Trader Joe's was the type of place that has mainly Trader Joe branded items. It's kind of like the equivalent of Waitrose over here. Waitrose has very few branded things. It's always Waitrose own brand stuff. And it was the same with Trader Joe's. I did like how they had... instead of Cheerios, they had Joe-O's. Should have bought a pack. Anyway, so we looked in there. I was like, oh crap! They don't do the Milky Ways. They don't do the Hershey's. They don't do the Paydays. So what are we going to do? Thankfully, there was a Target right next to it, and the Target did have all of that crap. So we ended up buying. What did we get? There's a photo of it. Hang on. Just got a little selection of stuff. This is stuff that I'd mainly seen on Gourmet Makes, which was Bon Appetit again, because I just love Bon Appetit. So we got some Milk Duds, Three Musketeers, Almond Joys, Payday. We've got some weird flavoured M&Ms, coffee nut flavoured, Sour Patch Kids. I wanted to try a Snapple, so I got a Snapple. And alright, I'll give you a little brief rundown of my reviews, of our reviews, because we both tried them. What the hell was that over there? What is that? Is there something moving over there? What is that? What's that thing there behind the sign? Oh, it's a horse. That really freaked me out. Okay. So yeah, very quick review. Where's my notepads? I made notes. So we have Almond Joy. 5 out of 10. The almond is superfluous, not really even needed. Can't taste it. Not particularly coconutty, and the chocolate was not very nice. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Payday bar. Simple but tasty. Salty. Wow. Salty hits you first, and then the sweetness of the caramel, or should I say caramel. Anyway, 8 out of 10. Very, very good. We like the Payday bar. Three Musketeers. Immediate flavour not great. It's similar to a Milky Way over here in England. Oh man, I'm really losing my voice. The chocolate wasn't as light, like the fluffiness wasn't as light as a Milky Way. Actually quite unpleasant. 2 out of 10. Not a fan of Three Musketeers. Definitely not. Milk Duds. Chocolate tastes dodgy and synthetic, quite fake tasting, which is kind of the same for all American chocolate, sorry. Caramel centre is nice. Chocolate is a bit too fatty and sugary. Doesn't mix with the caramel. So like you just eat it, you get the little bit of chocolate, and then you get the caramel. They don't bond. Disappointing. 6 out of 10. Coffee nut M&Ms. Coffee flavour not strong enough and fake tasting. Chocolate not great. I gave it a 5 out of 10. We did get some peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's. We gave them 7 out of 10. They were good, but they still weren't as good as Reese's. Sour Patch Kids could be a bit more sour. Doesn't last long enough. The sour flavour. Texture is a bit too soft. It would be better if they were a bit firmer and you had to suck them for longer. So it starts well, ends bad. 4.5 out of 10. Peach Tea Diet Snapple. Bad aftertaste because of the diet sugar, the aspartame. No, wait, what's it called? Aspartame? Whatever it is. I don't think it would quench my thirst, but the flavour is nice. 5 out of 10. Okay, there you go. Kind of similar to the candy taste test we did in Canada, but I think that was a bit more in depth. There you go. Alright, and that's pretty much it for Thursday. Let's end off. How long have I been recording for? An hour and 11 minutes? Oh my god! Friday, I'm going to be very quick. Friday was our last day. It wasn't even a full day because we had a flight at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. But we did have most of the day. So there's one thing that I wanted to do, which was go to some sort of museum or gallery. And because we had one thing left in our attraction pass. We'd used 2 of them and we had 1 left. So we went to MoMA. I picked MoMA because there were a few paintings in there that I really wanted to see, and it was quite close by. And yeah, annoyingly, the MoMA is actually free on a Friday between 4 and 8 or something, but we couldn't wait that long because we had a flight to catch. So we just used our last pass and had a little walk around MoMA. Not really much to say. They had some really cool buildings, cool paintings, and it was a cool building itself, like the design of it. I think it's recently been refurbished. I think my top tip for MoMA, which is something I wish I'd have done, is start at the top and work down. Don't start at the bottom and work up, because I'm going to be honest here, a lot of the paintings on levels 2 and 3 and a lot of the installations they have there, they weren't great. The famous ones are more at the top. So if you start at the top and work down, you can kind of skip a bit more at the end. Because it did take a long time. It took probably too long in there. And also, some of it was making me... It was a real test of my art appreciation. Because I was actually getting angry at some points. Maybe not angry, but frustrated at some of this artwork. Because I was just thinking, I don't get it. A lot of the stuff I just don't get. And annoyingly, a lot of the artwork there didn't have any sort of plaque, information plaque with it. So if it did, it just said artist, medium, date. I want a bit with like actual information about the thought process and the meaning behind some of it, because otherwise it was just like a bundle of sticks or a squiggly bit of wire, and I'm like, well, give me something to work on, And annoyingly, so many pieces of the work there were called Untitled, and I hate that. I hate that. Don't be so lazy, artists. Give your work names. Give me something to go off. Please. That might be a bit controversial, that viewpoint there, but I really hate untitled artworks. Yeah. However, we did get to see the famous ones. They have a few Andy Warhols even. The Campbell Soups. They have Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, which is very pretty. And probably my favourite of all, they have Edward Hopper, one of my favourite artists. I love Edward Hopper. And they had a couple of those there as well. So I'm glad I got to see those in the flesh. It's a pity that a lot of them don't have... You can't really get close enough to them. They have those little standing lines. Don't go any closer than this. Because you want to go up close. You want to see the brushstrokes. You want to see everything that's gone into it. But yeah, a lot of the times you weren't allowed to, which I get, but it's a shame. And then with MoMA done, we kind of had a little bit more time left. We had to leave for the for the airport about 6 or about 5, so it was about 3 o'clock. Couple of hours just to do a tiny bit of shopping. Went back to the Nintendo store. Partner got some stuff there. Got a few little tacky gifts from those tacky gift shops. And that was it, really. Just double checking. Whoa, now. Hey there. Whoa. Stop that. Oh, no. Actually, there's one more thing we did. I forgot. One thing that I missed out on doing the day before. One more thing that I'd built in Minecraft that I wanted to go see in real life. And that was the Flatiron Building. One of my favourite buildings, I think, in New York. Just the look of it, so good. I really enjoyed building it in Dang City, last map. And so we went there. It's a bit out of the way, not out of the way, but it was like Scooby-Doo. We'd always seem to just miss it, like by streets. By only a few streets, we'd miss it. So we finally went to go see it properly on the Friday. And what do you know? It's currently covered in scaffolding. Whoa. Maybe not covered, but all of the corners. So obviously it's a triangular building. And all the 3 corners of it were covered in scaffoldings, which sort of took away from the look of it quite a bit, which is a shame. You can't shoot me from there. That's right. You die. Oh well. I ended up just getting a coffee, and there's a Lego store nearby, so I went to the Lego store instead. But at least I've seen it. Just a bit scaffoldy, that's all. And yeah, that was pretty much it. With that, we headed back to... oh, come on now, guys. Come on. Let me round up. Headed back to the airport, and got on our plane back. I slept most of the way back, which was good, which is partly why I'm so jet lagged and confused about time, because it almost feels like no time passed at all, and suddenly I was back in England. Very, very strange feeling. Very, very strange. Like teleporting. But yeah, to sum up, New York, I just loved it. I loved it. What a great city. And I only really scratched the surface of what to do there. I did the touristy stuff, but there's going to be so much more. So much more. Which is good, because it's one of those places I can definitely see myself returning to. Unlike Toronto, where I felt like, Toronto. Unlike that place, it was nice. It was a nice city, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Canada. But I don't really see myself ever going back there for the foreseeable future. New York is a place I could see myself going back to and just doing slightly different things instead. There's just so much to do. What else is it? Oh yeah, just quickly to touch on a few things. The subway. I really like the subway. I wasn't sure what to make of it at first because I'd heard mixed things. Subway is very dirty in places, very, very smelly, very crowded at times. But I like the system. I do like the way they have it. I like the flat fare. That's very nice. I like the amount of stops. I like the lines. I like the way that they do streets. I love the avenues and the streets. So it goes ascending from right to left. So you got 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue going up and down vertically. Whoa, someone has a punch. And then you have streets going ascending from south to north, which just makes it so. I mean, I got lost still quite a lot, but it does make it easier to work out where you're going. Okay, so this is on 46th, 7th. So okay, 46th Street is about there. 7th is this way across. It's like coordinates, basically. Makes it very, very good to travel. I like that about New York. Very good. Much easier than stupid English street names, which have really random ones you can't even pronounce sometimes. Okay, listen, you guys. I've had enough of this. Die. Let me end off. Okay. So I think that's probably about it, really. That's all I have to say about New York. It has been nearly an hour and a half, so probably time to wrap up. I had a great time. I would highly recommend for you guys to go and visit if you can. I'm sure there's stuff I've missed, but we did a lot. We managed to do a crap ton in 5 days, not even 5 whole days, 4 days and a bit. So, oh no. What I might do is, if you are interested, I'll put up my little itinerary. I made it on a Trello board, but I can share it because if you are interested, I think it's a pretty good plan. I'm just saying, I think it was a pretty good thing. It was nice to follow, and it kind of does everything you need to do on your first trip to New York, I would say. And yeah, at some point in the future, I might very well return. And maybe even tie it in with a trip down to Orlando. Not Orlando. Yeah, Orlando. Go see Disney there as well. We shall see. Okay, I'm going to get out of here before I get swamped by even more mobs. This is horrible. Maybe next time I can do some building. Go back to Morge World, show you some stuff I've done over there. I see them after me, no. But until then, thank you very much for watching. And goodbye. Ah!